Hi there and welcome back. I've been away from the channel for a few months because my gardening this year has been difficult. I can't say anything better than that. It's been difficult. And so I've been struggling to find the positives of what to show you because there has been so many negatives. And we're talking about pests such as slugs, so nothing's really been growing. But finally, I realised that it's not just me that's having this problem; it's everybody. So in order to confirm that we all have bad years, I thought I'd show you around my garden this year and actually show you the positives of what we've got growing at the moment. Let me show you what we've got. So this bed was meant to be the biennial and hardy annual bed, i.e. the plants that I planted last year in the autumn. Well, that didn't go according to plan. So we have some iridium here. We've also got some straw flowers here. Now, I've really struggled to germinate straw flowers this year. I don't know why. I'm focusing particularly on dried flowers. So these are going to be my staple crop. And this is all I've got. So not many plants. I'm hoping they will be very productive for me, but it's also a very limited colour scheme because again, I planted loads, but only 2 colours came out. In fact, and we've got this beautiful pink, although I did think it was salmon rose. So it's not peachy at all, it's pinky. And we have a white, which will be useful. But again, not much, and they've grown very tall, of which I was sure I had pinched them, but maybe not. So I think this afternoon I'm going to pick the lot so that they have a chance to sprout lower and generate more flowers. These are the Sweet Williams. It was a mixed packet of seeds, so obviously you don't know what you're going to get. And all I got was red, which is really difficult to marry up with anything else. So they will also be coming out. They are looking healthy plants actually, but I don't want red. So I'm going to clear the space up and use it for something else. Possibly, you can see some self-seeded grasses that are growing in my cobbles. So I might transfer those into the next door bed and hope to get some of that. That I believe is sparkles, so it will produce quite a feathery flower, which will be lovely, and it's lovely in dried arrangements. We have some scabiosa, so this is a perennial, and it's all white, this one. This is ping pong, so the flower's fairly insignificant, but the seed head should be good. Again, not many flowers for that. Got a bit of nigella that did survive the winter. This was planted out last year, so that is reassuring and also notable for being fairly slug resistant. So something to note. Get a bit more scabiosa, and I can't remember what colour that's going to be, but we shall see. That's the end of the sweet rocket over there. That needs to be pulled out. And if you can see in the background there is some foxgloves. They were all last year's. They haven't flowered at all. No, actually, I tell a lie. One has flowered, and that's it. So I don't quite know what's going on there. It's my seedling area. I'll go over that later. We've got a few cosmos, a few more of these grass seedlings down the edge here to move. Some nasturtiums are happy. This is, I think, squirrel tail grass. That's doing nice. I've cut a few bunches of that and they're drying in the shed at the moment. Again, some more foxgloves. So next year I'm hoping for a very good display of foxgloves. but certainly not this year. This bed was meant to be full of larkspur. The amount of seeds I've sown was enormous, and the slugs had a field day. So I then planted out antirrhinums, or snapdragons, and they are just starting to flower now. This is getting to a point of being the perfect for picking. So what you need are a few flowers open, but a few still left at the top, and they will open in the vase. So they are getting perfect. And I have to say, these are the best snapdragons I've grown. They're straight and they're doing really well. So I am really enjoying these, and I'm hoping I will have plenty of them. Interspersed, I have some sorry looking dahlias. These dahlias were eaten by slugs. I dug them up, put them in a pot, they regrew. I've planted them out again. Look at the state of them. So I don't know whether I'm going to get anything from any of these, but we can live in hope. As you can see, I have some slug defences around it to see what works. So I have surrounded them in straw. I have got some herbs planting round. I don't know what the toilet roll's meant to do, but I read somewhere that that's supposed to do something, but I've not noticed it doing anything. And the grapefruit was supposed to attract them again. I've not noticed that be of any use, but we're trying all these things out. The next bed is my dahlia bed, which was going to be my pride and joy, but who knows. Things are starting to flower or get buds. As you can see, we've got a bud coming here. So finally we are getting something. Again, a different type of flood defences. We've had beer, troughs. I've been protecting seedlings with bags so they can't get in. I don't think any of it works, to be honest. It's just about trying to get rid of the worst of it, or protect it from the worst. So I've got oats down there. That's supposed to do something. I don't know whether any of it has. As you can see, there are not so much flowers. Now, this is a self-sown Nicotiana, and actually this is better than any of the ones that I've sown myself. So I'm really pleased with that. That can stay. And peeking behind it is some more dahlias. And the marigolds are also self-sown. But this, look, they are just starting to pop. So this one, I believe, is Penhill Dark Monarch, I think. Something's eating the flowers, but I'll let that go. At least there's a flower. This one, look at this one. It's a beauty. Absolutely beautiful. This is Molly Raven, and it's just opened. I just spotted it today. So this is where it all comes together. Seeing something like that makes a difference. But we are still waiting for others, and I've lost track of what's where. Self-sown poppy at the end here, which I'm hopeful for getting the poppy heads for drying. And I've planted some dill, which I might try and dry that, see what happens. Next bed along, more dahlias. I think these are all capiolets, again rescued from the slugs, and are doing really well in this bed, strangely. Some China asters next to them, again doing well, avoiding the slugs. A gap that needs filling. These beauties are zinnias from Floret Flowers, so really expensive seeds. but they're doing really well. Not far off my normal zinnias. And these zinnias are really vile colour. I don't know what the hell they are. I was hoping for more of this colour. They're supposed to be Queen Lime series. I don't think these are the same at all, but we shall see. We have some belly buttons there. Again, they have managed to survive the slugs. So I'm not quite sure what's eaten that flower head at the top. Hopefully it doesn't attack anymore. I might need a closer look at that. This, I thought, was another self-sown marigold. Or, yeah, the leaves are pretty similar, so I left it in. But it's got blue flowers. So I'm not quite sure what that is and whether I should just pull it out. Might be okay. The nigella is all self-sown. And I've just noticed it's had more zinnias in here and they seem to have been eaten, so oh well. It's the way it is. These are celosia. Again, flower ones. And they're doing remarkably well. I wasn't sure how they would grow because the climate may not be the right climate, but they're doing remarkably well. And we may even have a flower head starting. I've never grown celosias before, but as another flower head over there. These again are, I think these are celosia as well. I think, but a different type. They just seem to spread. They don't seem to be growing up in any shape. So I'm not quite sure. I think it's something called sea spray. I'll get the name and let you know. They've survived the onslaught, but were picked off with some pigeons, hence this netting that's lying around. Every now and again I keep covering it up. And again, the staple for any dried flowers, florist, statice or limonium. And they're doing pretty well, quite pleased with those. So we've got what's termed pastels, which mainly are blues, and then I've got apricots, which are more your peachy colours, which actually I'm really enjoying. In this bed, as you can see, we've had a problem with pigeons attacking and taking the seedlings. So I have had to cover things up when, well, I didn't know whether it was pigeons or rabbits, but either way, going. So we've got grasses. This is my grass bed, and it's looking good. And this is why I think the seedlings that are growing in the paths are this one here, which is sparkles, sprinkles even, Panicum sprinkles, which produces a nice feathery plant, which is great for drying. And then we've got these ones here, and the bunny tails, which I never seem to get them to be very long, so I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong, but that's where we are. I have some sweet peas lurking in the background here, which I forgot about. I need to make a bit of effort in doing something there. And then I have been actively avoiding showing you this bed, which is horrendous. And I need to sort out, look at all that weeds. This had raspberries in, it had the Achillea and feverfew last year, and I've got some black currants, a rose, and the phlox. And I don't know what's happened with the raspberries, they've disappeared completely. I have found some intriguing grasses by leaving them, so I'm kind of pleased with that, with leaving some weeds here. So I'm drying these grasses off so that they can go into arrangements like that. But there are a lot of flowers. I've moved some of the Achilleas into other beds, which is why there's nothing here. And I had intended to plant some perennials here, such as the billy buttons and the yellow yarrow that I have. But A, I haven't got around to it, and B, everything else was going wrong. There was space in the other beds, so that I'm just focusing on maintaining those beds. I need to cut back all of these so they don't seed anywhere else. But other than that, nothing else is going in these beds this year, and we can leave it at that and start again next year. This bed here was my hardy perennial bed last year, which did so well last year. This year, again, slugs and green fly was a major problem. So all the lupins have got attacked by green fly, and this is what we're left with. Really need to cut them back and see whether this new growth will actually go somewhere rather than just being eaten by green flies. We might have got over the hurdle. No, look, we have a plant there. And again, it's got green fly over it. Let me knock those off just for whilst I'm here. It's much better than it was, but then there's nothing much growing on it, so I can imagine they've just gone somewhere else. But all of the lupins that I had last year, which were spectacular all season long, are just nothing this year. Peonies had no flowers for a second year, so I'm a bit worried about that. Killia is doing well. We're okay with that. And this GM has been flowering its little socks off for months. So that's my main beds. And actually now, as I stand back here now, the dahlia bed, other than that end, is really filling out and is more than I could have hoped for even a week, 2 weeks ago. So all is well, things are progressing, and we have flowers. Finally, these are my last jobs to do. So I have some seedlings that need to be potted out. So these are the yarrow. They were eaten by slugs initially, so I protected them, and they've regrown, thankfully. So they will go into one of the spaces in the beds that we've just gone through. This is some phylacterum, and I think it needs a bit of shade, so I'm going to plant those out because they're going a bit yellow, so they probably have reached their limit in these pots. And the rest are seedlings for next year. So this is a looping, this is poppy, which is a biennial, this is Achillea the pearl, which is a perennial, so all of those are fine. That's some cuttings from a hydrangea. These are Sweet William, wallflowers, Dorcas, Campanula, Honesty, some more poppies, and foxgloves that I think need thinning out. I think I'm going to have a massive surplus of foxgloves next year. And the Honesty, again, birds started picking at the seeds, so I replanted some more Honesty in this one here, just in case. So hopefully I have some Honesty for next year, because nothing came through this year. So I hope you've enjoyed my run through of what I've got in the cutting patch this year. It's not as spectacular as last year, but nevertheless, with all of the problems that I've had with slugs, I'm so pleased I've got something finally flowering, in particular that spectacular dahlia. And I can only hope that some of my other new varieties that I've added in this year that have been a little bit nibbled do make it to flower. So stay tuned and we'll see how well we go going forward. Now I've got to get on with planting and weeding. I hope your garden's doing well for you, and we'll catch up soon. Happy gardening!